Welcome everybody to another episode of Meet Me in Napa. How you guys doing? Your boy Jeremy Jackson here. Glad you guys are here and joining me for another episode. I have a very special guest here today, Miss Jamila Ha-Neith, your children's favorite auntie. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for coming today.
Yes.
We got to meet through an acquaintance of ours, and we had to kind of have a conversation, and we've been following each other, and I love what you're doing with the community, your community work, and which we'll get into. Really was inspiring. And from when I first met you and watching you, I was like, I'm gonna have her on one day, So I'm glad that you're here.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the invite.
So, I know the show is Meet Me in Napa, and one of the things a lot of the guests are going to learn is that, yes, we talk to people from Napa Valley, but also if you're not from Napa, you're still meeting me in Napa,
Right. That's true.
So that's the gist of the show, right? But you're like Napa's, you're living in Vallejo, which everybody knows is right next door to Napa Valley, right?
That's true.
You got to go through Vallejo to get to Napa.
Yes.
And so you live in Vallejo, but you're from Oakland.
From Oakland.
The town gonna come out.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because people, I'm 45 now, right? Mm-hmm. So, but my friends will call me and they'll be like, "Man, you ain't like that."
That's funny.
I'm like, man, I'm the old me. You know what I mean? So
Anyway,
so how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm wonderful. I'm happy to be here.
Good. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Of course, you're the children's favorite auntie. Tell me where that slogan came from. Why are you the children's favorite auntie?
Well, as a business owner, as a family home childcare provider, I've cared for a lot of children. Mm-hmm. And I can't be their mama, so their auntie.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so you're from Oakland originally?
Yes,
what part of Oakland?
I say New Oakland, Northeast and the West.
Okay.
I went to school in Emeryville, but it's close to North Oakland.
Yeah.
And I did go to elementary school in North Oakland. I used to live in East Oakland until I was like 11 years old. And then we moved over to West Oakland. So I'll say from New Oakland.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you were in Oakland, and then when did you you spent your formidable years in Oakland, high school and all that stuff, or did you?
Yes.
Okay. What high school did you go to?
I went to Emeryville.
Okay, so you were in Emeryville. Were your parents like, I ain't seen you the skyline and all that?
No, I would have attended McClymonds High School.
McClymonds, yeah. I had a buddy who sent his son there for football years ago.
Yeah, they had a
really
great
good
football
team.
department.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yes, okay, so cool. So so when did you get to Vallejo?
When my mom was displaced out here, displaced from Oakland, moved to Vallejo. We had my uncle and auntie that lived out here. At the time she moved out here, I was attending school at Santa Rosa JC.
Okay.
And I wasn't there long. I had a cousin who was killed in a triple homicide, and that was traumatic. So me dealing with that, I needed to be with my family.
Okay.
So I ended up coming back home, and the stop was Vallejo.
Was that homicide in Oakland? Or?
It was.
It was? Okay. Was it like drug related?
It was.
It was? Okay.
It was.
Unfortunately. So dealing with that, you were in Santa Rosa JC. So what led to your profession of, you said you got family, children's care home.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're dealing with children. You deal with a lot of mental health issues. I know when we talk, that's really the foundation of what you do.
Yes.
Right. So let's start not with the kids, but how did you process with the mental health part of even losing your cousin and dealing with the trauma in your family?
I just needed to get home. That's really, at the time, I wasn't trauma informed. I was
like most of us aren't.
Yeah. I think when I came back to Oakland, I ended up going to school at Contra Costa, playing basketball there. I was at functions. I was at First Fridays, First Saturdays. I was partying.
Yeah, I was there too.
Like a rock star. So that's really just.
So you like partied trauma away.
Yeah, I really think so.
Yeah.
I had to be around people.
Yeah, I understand that. Like, it's just you're in the house and you're feeling like I'm going to do something. I just want to be outside, right?
Yes.
And you're young.
Yes.
And you're just like,
Yes.
Yeah. So what led to getting more a deeper understanding or knowledge of really how to process and really deal with that pain instead of like partying and drinking and drugging it away?
So
not that you were, but a lot of people do.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. And a lot of people, I believe, don't have strong support systems. May not have like real friends around them. How do you deal with things? I played basketball too. Okay. So that was an outlet as well as basketball. That's all I could really think of.
Yeah.
You know.
So what did you so in Vallejo, when you moved to Vallejo, what were you doing career-wise at that point?
I was working 3 jobs.
Okay.
My mom had ended up moving to Fairfield, and we were living in Blue Rock Village, me and my siblings. It was about 5 of us there, and working. I had to work. There wasn't much work here in Vallejo, so I was working at Hilltop Mall, and that's what I was doing.
I used to love to go school shopping there.
This is Hilltop.
When I was in
It's
high
nothing
school.
now.
It's like go to
now.
Hilltop. That was like the mall that had the cool clothes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they did. They had some nice stores.
Yeah. So lead us into the child advocacy part. How did you get into that journey?
So being someone that grew up in Oakland in an environment that was trauma-filled by design, I'm seeing dope things everywhere, hearing shootings, gunshots. I've lost a lot of friends to gun violence. And it was always a dream of mine to open up a center, a recreation center. And I believe it's going to come soon. That's what I really need support with. It's having a recreation center. When I grew up in Lower Bottoms, we didn't have that. We didn't have a safe space for children to go to and feel safe, feel heard, feel seen. And so I learned that I could open up a family home childcare, that I didn't need a degree or anything like that. Like that was the first stop, was opening up a family home childcare where I have a safe space, a healthy environment for the kids to grow up in, something I didn't have. And 3 years into that, I noticed certain behaviors of the children. I was serving a lot of families who were dealing with adversities, right? So before I opened up my family home childcare, I was working in San Francisco, and I was on maternity leave. My child was a month old, and I decided to get licensed as a family home childcare provider. Okay. 2012. Okay. And upon my returning back to work from maternity leave, I was laid off my job. Okay. So here I am, a single mother with an infant child. I had an eviction notice. My PG&E was cut off. I didn't have enough food in my home. And that was a lot to deal with. But had I not been taking a class called Child, Family, and Community at Solano Community College, and I learned, I'm just all the different schools.
Yeah, I know. I was saying Santa Rosa, Solano.
I stayed on my grind. So I took a class called Child, Family, and Community. And in that class, every student had to invite a representative from different community-based organizations to share about the resources that they provide for children and families. Had I not taken that class, I would not have known about Seasons for Sharing through Catholic Charities. It's a program that helps you with your rent or deposits. I wouldn't have known about the Salvation Army helping me out with the HEAP program. That's with PG&E to get my PG&E cut back on. I had applied for WIC, Women, Infant, and Children. So I had learned about these resources that were available to just provide some cushion to help me get out of my situation. And so I noticed that then I was serving all these families because I eventually opened up my family home childcare. And it was just, I see that God was pushing me into my purpose. That's what was happening. So now I'm serving children who had behavioral problems like I did when I was a child. Now I'm serving parents who are struggling as well, but then they have me as that support, somebody that they could come talk to about whatever they're going through, and me being able to help them with the resource. And at times with my own money. So at times with my own money, right. I'm helping pay their PG&E. I'm giving out vans for mothers, single mothers with 4 children that don't have transportation to get her child back and forth to school, even to get to work. So let me ask you a question here. So a lot of the programs that you just mentioned are like to help out financially, correct? But one of the things we understand is that there are issues that people face, right, that really have no poverty line, right? Yes. There could be sexual abuse in the home or just physical abuse or different things like that. Were there any of those challenges that you faced either growing up, or if you didn't face them growing up, that as you've been helping these kids that you have to help them through? So I try to be that person that I didn't see when I was growing up. So that's a segue into ACEs, right? The adverse childhood experiences. When I learned
Say
about
that one more time. It's the
ACEs, ACES.
Okay.
ACEs. Adverse childhood experiences.
Okay.
When I learned about ACEs, being in a local childcare planning council meeting, this is why it's important for people to know what's going on in the community, attend certain meetings. Nothing about us without us. You need to be in the room for real. So I was in that room and this representative was talking about the effect of ACEs. And I'm like, what is this? The study that they had done between the CDC and Kaiser in 1995-97. Okay, it's been around for that long. And people are just now talking about it. You guys are just now making people aware of it. So you can experience these indicators: abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, physical neglect, emotional neglect, dysfunctional household, loss of a parent due to death, divorce, abandonment, separation, witnessing domestic violence, having a family member incarcerated, having somebody mentally ill or suicidal in the household, or having somebody who is a substance abuser in your household. And that stuff can affect you. So having somebody, that one person, to just show you consistent loving, nurturing support, that's what's necessary. And that's what I try to provide to these babies. I try to be that one.
Yeah. So the business that you have now, the house you have, is in Vallejo, right? In service of Vallejo community. Have you had any type of outreach in other areas, or other, like, do you help people who are in other cities help their programs, or are you just really strictly focused on yours right now?
If people need me.
Okay.
That's why it's important for people to know
that's one of the reasons why I really wanted you to have on, because I think the work you're doing is important.
Thank you.
So it's kind of like to get the message out there, but to let other people know, hey, there's people out here that who have the information, who've laid certain foundations to, help. Back to what you were saying, I thought it was interesting where that ACEs, that came out through, who was the study?
Kaiser and the Center for Disease Control.
Kaiser and the Center for Disease Control. So oftentimes, and especially when it comes to Black kids, they're facing a lot of things, right?
Yes.
And then they see behavioral problems at school. And growing up, it's just punish the kid, right? So there wasn't a lot of programs today that dig deeper in the 80s and 90s like they have today, right?
Yes.
And of course, you do need order in classrooms so the other kids can teach, but there's a lot of things in place that help kids like grow through that, instead of just saying you're suspended or you're out. And the next thing you know is there's prison to pipeline situation, right?
Yes.
So we all know about the school to prison pipeline, where they're passing kids on who are failing, right? Or they're putting you in the quote unquote the IEPs, and they're basically just kind of padding you all the way through school just to get you out. And then your next, door after that will be jail within a matter of months or years, right? So what do you say to like that system, or what do you like, how can you help to advocate for kids or people who are in that situation to help them get through that or get out of it?
So let me tell you. So I say preschool to prison pipeline, and sometimes it's cradle to prison, because everything starts with the mother. What is that mom experiencing when she's pregnant with that child? If that mom has those adverse childhood experiences because the trauma she's experienced and it's messing with your nervous system, when she delivers that baby now have those ACEs. Everything she experienced, that baby now has the way the body and the genetics is all created, right? So by the age of 3, children from higher income family households have heard an average of 30 million more words than children in low income family households. At the age of 5, children from higher income family households have spent more hours in museums and libraries, and their parents have spent thousands of dollars more on preschool and education enrichment. By the first day of kindergarten, a child from a higher income family household have heard, or not even heard, is 2 years ahead of language development. A fourth grader behind in reading is, I want to say, 13 times more likely to drop out of high school. And that kid that dropped out of high school is 50 times likely, 50% more likely to become unemployed, and 8 times likely to become incarcerated. So we have to become more trauma informed. We have to provide low-income families with more resources and services. We need to love on these babies more. We really do. We need to build relationships with them. You have teachers in schools that label these kids. I'm telling you, I was that kid that was labeled bad.
I got labeled.
Yeah. But we have these underlying issues that's happening at home, but you don't even take time to build a relationship with that child to even find out, and not to find out to get them in trouble or get the mom in trouble. Now, mind you, I was that mother who had an eviction notice. My PG&E was cut off. I didn't have enough food in my home. What, you gonna call CPS on me?
Yeah.
And all I needed was resources.
Right.
To thrive.
Yeah.
That's all I needed.
Yeah. I back to especially with the mental health therapy side, which, especially in the Black community, we've been skeptical of it because it's always been used to against us. Crazy. More so. Yeah. I think it's just now that this generation of kids are very I think there's an understanding on both sides now that there's been some misuse, not some, but there's been abuse and misuse of it, as well as kids are able to go in and talk about these things without their parents getting in trouble, right? Because, I have to say personally, I didn't face that, but a lot of friends that I have faced that, right?
Yes.
Where it's like, the parents say, don't go in there telling those people my business because they know that there's, because you're just struggling, right?
Yes.
It's not like you're being abused or anything. It's just, hey, we're just struggling, right?
Right.
But if these people know we're struggling, they use it as a reason to
remove you from the home.
So there's always that fear. And I don't know what that looks like today, but I know growing up, it was like that. And definitely the stories of past, in my grandparents and parents' day, definitely was like that.
Yes.
What are some deeper rooted issues? I know it seems very economic right now, right?
Yes.
But people are dealing with like I say, there's a lot of sexual abuse. And I don't want to quote, but I know that they were saying there's about 1 in every 4 women face sexual abuse in their lifetime. And that comes at different ages. And it seems like it starts to happen around the developmental stage ages for females and stuff like that. How do you approach young women who are dealing with that? How do you help them? What are some tools that you give them to help them guide them through that?
Well, see, I'm all about prevention. I like getting them when they real young. Yeah, we're going to talk about these body parts. We're going to talk about, hey, nobody's supposed to touch down there.
Yeah.
They have to know these things. And the biggest thing I really believe that lacks in a lot of households, and it's because we grow up in households where it's speak when spoken to, do as I say, not as I do. You just have to follow the instructions. That's just what you better do. But I think about boundaries, right? I was watching the news one day, and this little girl was being praised because she told her mom she don't want to sit on Santa's lap. So you're teaching these kids, you got to sit on this man's lap to get a gift.
Right.
And it's like, no. If they want to say no, be okay with no. You could probably ask them, go that far and ask them, well, why no? But don't force kids to do things they don't want to do.
Yeah.
So I'm just all about prevention. We're going to talk about things. If it's an older age, say a teenager, what happened? What happened? But I'm telling you, I feel like boundaries, like not being able to say no, having to always do what your parents just tell you to do. And I get it. But sometimes if a child feels uncomfortable, just respect it. Yeah. Kids deserve respect too.
They do. Most definitely. It's funny. I remember there was a time where I can't remember how long ago this was, but I was at a party, and it was one of my daughter's friends, or I can't even remember who it was, but there was a bunch of teenagers there, right? And it was somebody came to me, was like, man, this kid just told me they were uncomfortable. And he didn't know how to take it, right? He was adult, because I probably was in my late 20s at the time, early 30s, because I had my daughter when I was 18.
Okay.
So I was,
Okay.
so yeah, by the time I was like 28, she was 10, 31, she was a teenager. So yeah, so we were at a party. So, and he didn't even know how to register that being told to him because of how we grew up, right? And there was nothing at the time. I mean, there was nothing that he did or anything. It was just, she was somebody who was taught to speak up for herself, right? Yep. And so even one of the things I do with my daughter now, my youngest, and my daughter, other daughter, she's grown now, but my youngest daughter, when we're driving to school, I say, use your mouth. Yep. Speak up for yourself. I don't care if it's a teacher. I don't care if somebody who's an authority. You speak up for yourself, and then you let them call me. Yes. And if you were wrong, then I will correct that, right? Yes. But the number one rule is make sure you're protected and safe in the moment, and then we can deal with all the peripheral stuff later. Yes. Right? We could correct any issue. So, teaching children to speak for themselves. And I really, I didn't grow up in the other household, but a black one. Okay. So I'm speaking to our people right now when I say this. Yes. We as parents have to do better with empowering our children.
We do.
Because it's it's a cruel world, and not to lay on the side of like woe is me or anything. Right. But we have to do better with empowering our children. Not just on the preventive side of like not only just for the protection of like, hey, there's bad people, but to empower them to speak up for themselves in ways to advocate for themselves when they want something.
Listen.
Right? There are times when they like, oh, I don't want to go try this because I'm not good. Or I don't want to, they're not going to hire me anyway. Or not. And it's like, no. Go in there and present yourself. Speak boldly. Yes. Hold your chin up, and talk like that. So it's not just merely only with the bad stuff. It's like there's a positive side for speaking up for yourself.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And it's necessary. A lot of us, I know I was born a natural leader. I know I am. Mm-hmm. I'm somebody that I'll speak up. Mm-hmm. I'm big on justice. I stand up for people. Yeah. That's just how I am. And so even when you see those kids that do that same thing, and that end up always being the one that's getting in trouble all the time because they're always taking up for everybody. They putting themselves, they on the front line for everybody else, right? But we have to be able to have the ability to identify that this is a leader and put that child in leadership positions. Don't label that child bad. Yeah. That's a leader.
Yeah. Yeah. Even the kid that, I cut a lot of people is at the barbershop, and a lot of people that I see who are like computer science and coding, they're very on the spectrum.
Okay.
This a lot, you know what I mean? It's just, and that's not a negative thing, right? But when you're younger, you kind of got teased for being that way, right? You got teased for being that way, or it didn't look like, you didn't look like a genius. Sometimes it's like when you're black, you don't get labeled as genius as a kid. When you're on the spectrum, you're drugged and you're put in a special classroom. Whereas, so I just sometimes as an adult, one of the things that I look back in life and I look back at situations I've been in and households I've been with a friend, not just my friends, but just many of households all over just my lifetime. And I look at the situation and I'm like, man, that kid was really a genius.
Yes.
That kid was really this, or he could have been, you know what I mean? Had he had not just money, but just a safe home.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
To develop that.
Fostering.
Yeah, to foster that genius that was in that kid. It wasn't. And so what happens is that it doesn't get fostered. Now it becomes survival. And now his survival is now being punished, right, by society as a whole. And people just don't see that. They don't see that. And as a black man, it's hard. No one wants to hear your sob story. I can imagine. I know even for women, right? No, it's hard. First, it's hard for everybody, right? Everybody's out here trying to survive. Everybody's out trying to make it. But that extra layer of just help, of love,
we lack compassion,
compassion
we
and
lack
capacity.
Compassion.
Yeah, as a whole,
yes,
can really just can really help people just break through in ways that we haven't even seen yet.
Yeah.
Right. So
we need to. I was on the phone with a friend today on the way here, and she was saying how somebody told her that she has ADHD. I know for sure I do. I really believe that people that,
yeah.
And those are kids that get in trouble a lot.
Yeah.
You know, they can't sit still. You know, this is cool because I'm talking to you. Because I'm like, if I was just sitting in a classroom, I would be starting a whole nother conversation with somebody. I can't sit still, but I have to sit in the front of the class. And I know my son was born with it too. I'm like, you need to sit in the front of the class.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be able to focus. So I'm just thinking about those people that are, you know, computer savvy and the techs and the engineers. Stuff like that helps them.
Yeah.
It is very therapeutic.
Yeah, they can sit there for hours.
I think about producers, music producers, you know, or you have those that could sit still long enough, like people that write lyrics.
Yeah.
But they can't. They probably not bold enough to stand up in front of somebody and then lay that track down or perform, but they could be behind the scenes and write. So I'm just thinking about the ADHD.
So what are some other community stuff that you have going on that you're involved with?
So this year in August, we hosted our 5th year ACEs Awareness Community Resource Fair because I want every household that have a child in Solano County to be aware and to know about what ACEs is. And what I did was I'm intentional by bringing those different community-based organizations out to share about the resources that they provide because people need to know.
Right.
So we have people that come around throughout the Bay Area. So it's always a great event. Community, it's food. We had a lot of entertainment this year, brought out a lot of youth starting from the age 7 to about 13, and they all performed. I do that yearly. That's our biggest event.
Okay. That sounds amazing. Who'd you have out there this year performing?
We had Two Turnt Polo. We had Jameelah, Rain,
Are these
Avery.
all Vallejo artists? Or just
it is.
Bay Area? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, so it's Two Turnt Polo, Rain, Jameelah, Zandario, King Bray.
See, I know I'm old.
Yeah, no, they young. They are young. These babies. You better go follow them.
I'm from the Mag Mall, you know.
Yeah, go follow them.
E40 Day, yeah.
Yeah, go follow
okay,
them.
yeah, I'm going to have to check them out. So is there anything that you, like, want to leave with the people that's really heavy on your heart that you just want the viewers, whoever comes across this, to know? Or is there a foundation, or is there how can they give to help support? What can the audience or people who are very into that, into just giving back, who have philanthropy money, just to
check out Watch Me Grow Inc. WatchMeGrowInc.com. They can see the work that we've put in and that we've got done. It's a lot great work. We do everything we can to empower our youth, support our parents, and uplift our parents, and build resilient communities. They can check out JameelahHanif.com, JameelahHanif.com. And I provide parent coaching, facilitate. I'm a speaker. I do a lot of things. God has put a lot in me that I just want to put out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
And if anything else, I just really want to make sure that the work that you're doing is highlighted.
Thank you.
And that it gets out to as many people as possible. It really means a lot to me to use this platform to do that. Because I can talk about the wine and I can talk, that's fun. You don't get it twisted. It's fun, and we can talk about so many different things. But one of the things when I started this was, if there are people that I could be available to and an asset to help them do the work, because you guys are the people who are ground zero with stuff, you know what I mean? And I can only imagine some of the horror stories and challenging things you have to face, but we need people like you in all communities, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's not just Vallejo or just Oakland. We need them everywhere, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
By the time this one airs, there's a lady whose son from Napa, and he passed away from he overdosed, accidental overdose, fentanyl.
I need to talk to her.
Yeah, I'll connect you with her.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll connect you with her. And so she does a lot of work out here in the Valley and talks to people at the school. So the thing about it is, those stories need to be highlighted, and those people need as much support, even if more than, just, I don't know. I don't want to downplay anybody's journey, but you know what I mean? But you guys need to be highlighted. So thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I'm so glad to have you on. And when you do your podcast, I'm gonna come on there.
Yeah.
And let's just continue to keep doing amazing work. Vallejo, I've had many days in Vallejo.
Okay.
But we're not talking about that now.
Right.
All right. Thank you guys for coming. Meet me in Napa, Miss Jamila Ha-Neith, and we'll see you on the next episode.
All right.